Well, hello there, this is Rocco of Rocky's Modern Life, and hopefully this is the last time I try to shoot this video because I keep getting interrupted. I am here to give you the final episode review for Smallville. Series finale was tonight, and I really enjoyed the episode, but it still hurt so bad. Every minute that passed was just a minute closer to the end. As you can see, I wore my Smallville High t-shirt. I had to get ready for the event. 2 hours. I'm going to try to review this the best I can. It was 2 hours long, so there is going to be probably some stuff that I either forget to mention or might not be in perfect order of how it happened, but please forgive me. It was 2 hours long. So the episode started with a bunch of stuff Clark went through on his journey, this great montage, and then you get the first scene from the final episode was comic book, said Smallville on the cover, looked like Clark on the cover, and you hear a woman's voice reading this comic book, and then it pans out, and there is Chloe reading it to what looks to be her and Oliver's son, which was really cool. Haven't got a chance to see Chloe in a while. And then it jumps 7 years back to the current story, because the boy looked to be 5 or 6 years old, and then it goes 7 years ago. So we jump into the story, and Clark and Lois's wedding. Here we go. They're going to get married, and all this stuff's going on. And basically Lois thinks she's going to be in the way of Clark's destiny, so she's thinking of calling off the wedding. Clark really wants to get married still, and Chloe convinces Lois to go on with the wedding, but then Clark has his doubts. Then finally they decide they're going to go on with the wedding. But before the wedding, you get to see that the darkness has indeed overtaken Oliver. He's given a gold kryptonite wedding ring, and that's what's going to take Clark's powers away for good when Lois puts the ring on, obviously. So you don't know what's going to happen. We get to the wedding, and another side story that's going into this is Lionel abducts Tess and brings her back to this lab and basically tells her about how Lex cloned himself so many times and none of them ever turned out right. So he destroyed them, but out of all the clones there were pieces that came out right. So he kept pieces of each clone to eventually put them together to make one clone that would be perfect. And all they needed was a heart. So Lionel's plans are to remove Tessa's heart and put it into Lex. So you think Tessa's going to die, and I'm pretty sure from there it jumped back to the wedding. And everything's going good. Clark keeps... Martha's in the episode, and Clark keeps seeing Jonathan, which is really cool. He keeps getting glimpses of Jonathan, and Jonathan's giving him advice on things. All this other stuff is like everything's coming together. The wedding is happening, and as Lois is getting ready to put the ring on Clark's finger, Chloe notices last second that it's gold kryptonite, smacks it away, and then Oliver reveals that he, the darkness is in him, and Clark actually shows him the light and brings the darkness out of him, which obviously pisses off Darkseid, because the light that Clark brings is the only thing that could defeat Darkseid. And right now there's a huge meteor or planet coming towards Earth, and it's getting pulled by the darkness in everybody, so Clark has to remove the darkness from everybody. And then and then we shoot back to Tess and Lionel, and Tess ends up shooting Lionel, escapes, and Darkseid comes, tells Lionel that, Lionel says that he wants Lex to live, and Darkseid rips Lionel's heart from him and obviously gives it to Lex. And this was a big moment because you actually get your first Lex appearance in years. Michael Rosenbaum came back. It was awesome. Played Lex, and one of my favorite parts about it is he had the glove on, just like in the comics, and because obviously he's pieces and like his hand was like all messed up, so he's got the one glove, which is sweet. I was excited to see that. And sorry if like this sounds confusing. It's just a 2-hour episode. I'm having a hard time processing all this right now. So Lex is back, and him and Clark have a confrontation at the old Luthor mansion. They part ways, and then from there, Clark has to stop this huge mass coming towards Earth, and he gets into a fight with Darkseid, who is in Lionel Luthor's body, which is pretty sweet. And Lois somehow gets on Air Force One, wants them to not nuke this thing because it's going to kill millions of people. That she convinces them to wait a little longer, that the blur will save them and destroy what's coming towards Earth. And I'm trying to make sure I'm getting everything here. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I probably forgot some stuff. But let's see, from there Clark goes back to Fortress, which things, oh actually no, I didn't, I'm already messing up. Clark actually flies, destroys Darkseid, flies through him, and it's pretty sweet flight. You're like, yes. And then there's this sweet montage of everything he's gone through, and like tons of memories flashing from the previous 10 years that we've all been watching this show, and it's just awesome. You're like, this is so cool. He's flying, and we're getting a sweet montage. And then he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and everybody knows what's in the Fortress of Solitude. As you know, that's where the suit is. But I'm going to get back to that because something else was going on. Tess and Lex get together, and basically Tess goes on with Lex about how the whole time he knew that she was really a sister, and he was actually using her. And they have this, thing, this moment, and then Lex all of a sudden stabs her. But something, I was a little confused on this part, something to do with, I don't know, but somehow Lex, his memory gets erased as Tess dies, like something to do with, I don't know, her blood or something. This part confused me a little bit because it referenced something else, but for some reason I was just confused, or maybe I just like couldn't remember what the hell she was talking about. So Lex's memory is erased. So we're like, oh, alright, is Lex gonna be bad? What's going on? And then we go back, and Clark is in the fortress. Sweet, you're like, yes. Clark's in the fortress. Jor-El's talking to him. Jonathan Kent shows up. The suit rises from the ground. You're just staring at it. It's so awesome. And then Jonathan hands him the suit. Clark flies off with it. You're like, okay, we're going to get to see Clark in the suit. It's going to be so sweet. And he basically, you can see him from afar. He puts the suit on. And I was like, oh God, please don't do this. Don't not show him with the suit. But, you can see him from like a very distance because he's flying and he's next to the airplane and he's like tiny. And I'm like, come on, show him with the suit on. He flies back, saves the world, destroys this thing, lifts the darkness from everybody, and from there it's getting ready to show him complete from head to toe in the suit, and then it comes back to the comic book, and I'm like, no. And it's Chloe finishing reading the comic book to her son, and I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, oh, it didn't show him in the suit really, it like showed him from afar but not a close-up. So I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be so pissed if it ends this way. Thankfully it did not. From there, which, one cool thing was when they when she finished reading the story to her son, in the son's room by all like his toys and stuff, there was a toy bow and arrows because his dad's the Green Lantern. That was sweet. But okay, 7 years later, we're back to 7 years later now, and Clark and Lois are actually going to get married. But then something happens. Clark gets called off, and before I tell you what happens at the very end, something really cool, if you remember several seasons ago, Lex Luthor was supposed to be president. He showed him all in the white suit. Well, there was a news flash on one of the televisions of Lex as president, all in his white suit. It didn't really, you don't know, apparently his memory's erased, so he's not bad Lex, but I don't know. So, I guess you'll never really know, was that bad Lex, or is that memory erased regular Lex? He doesn't remember how bad he was. I guess we'll never know. But that was cool. It showed him all in his white suit as president, like it did several years ago in an episode. Clark runs up to the top of the building, because him and Lois are supposed to be getting married again, and he breaks through the doors, tosses his glasses off, I think, undoes his tie, rips open his shirt, and there he is, Superman. Rips open his shirt and the suit's underneath. You don't get to see him from head to toe, full suit, except from afar, but you get to at least see him rip open and have the Superman suit right there. It was awesome. And I really loved the episode. Everything was perfect. We had Lex. Oh, and then another sweet thing was it had Aaron Ashmore back as Jimmy Olsen, but, you know, Jimmy's younger brother, actual Jimmy Olsen. And he was taking photos, and he was telling Lois, were these good enough? And Perry White, editor, there was a big thing, and it was sweet. And it ended up being, you know, Jimmy's younger brother from Jimmy's funeral, but grown up because we're 7 years later, and he was playing the part of Jimmy Olsen, the photographer, which was awesome. And then it showed Perry White's editor on a door. Everything was just wicked cool, and the episode was great. You got to see. You didn't actually get to see a wedding. They never exchanged I-do's. You got to see the flight. You got to see the tights. You got to see him in uniform. Lex came back. Chloe, Jonathan Kent, Martha Kent, Aaron Ashmore, Jimmy Olsen. That was awesome. I didn't even know that was going on. Like, I knew all these other people were going to be in the final episode, but I heard nothing of that. It was just wicked cool how they did everything. My only complaint is they didn't really show him close up, head to toe in the suit. I would have liked to see the whole thing on him. We got to see a close up of, you know, head to in his chest over him ripping his shirt open, and you got to see him in the suit from a very far distance. But it was definitely bittersweet. I loved everything they did, other than, you know, not showing him close up in full suit. And other than that, the episode, I loved it. The dark side, the whole dark side thing was awesome. The whole thing with Lex Luthor was awesome. I loved how they showed Lex Luthor in his white suit as president. Like, even though you're not completely sure if it's bad